we also call that dissociation. When you're in fear state,
right,
your body starts to dissociate from the present time, actually.
Right.
So it's like a way to detach yourself from reality, and you get stuck in your head.
right,
And it's really dangerous because then you don't have your sensors sensing
Right.
for you. You're now in like flight and freeze or fawn mode.
right.
Right. And then that's dissociation. Can you kind of see like how?
Hey, welcome back to Rivvibe. This is segment 2 with my guest Senya. And if you didn't watch segment 1, I suggest you watch it, so you could jump in on this part 2, where we're going to talk about how to hear your inner truth. And this is the most important thing for you to live a free life, which is what I'm all about. You accessing your authentic self, being your true essence of who you are. And, we've been talking about watching the animal kingdom, and that's how this all came about too. And maybe you guys can resonate with this. I'm going to introduce Senya again, dear friend of mine that is also a wellness practitioner and intuitive guide. And so she has so much to share, and that's why I wanted her to come and share this with you guys. So, Senya, from leaving off where we left on the last episode, how can you tell, getting right into it. How can you tell the difference between fear and intuition? And when I say that, it's like, where does somebody feel it, or describe what shows up in the body when you work with people? Is it in their gut? Does it matter is it different if it's in the gut versus the chest versus the head? What have you noticed in working with people?
Absolutely. I love this question. I think it does show up differently for every single person. Mm-hmm. And it could show up in different organs depending on what kind of emotions you're feeling, right? Like it can even eventually become an illness, right?
Okay.
If you don't listen to something in your body, it can turn into something bigger. But let's say what you're asking is, what are the signs of fear versus intuition? How can we tell? Right. So usually there's a saying out there, like, never make a decision when you're too happy or too sad or too upset. Right.
Don't go grocery shopping if you're hungry.
Right. Exactly. And it's true. And I say this because, when we are our bodies are sensors. Mm-hmm. That's what we are. We're designed to sense. Like every part of our body's sensing stuff, right? Like mm-hmm. all the vibration around us, what's coming to us. We're just like animals, mm-hmm. animals in the wild. Mm-hmm. We love watching them, right? Like, oh, yeah. They have such keen sense around their surroundings, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's say we have this amazing opportunity, even if it's like, it looks like the perfect opportunity, but in your body, you felt like gut turning, and maybe like your heart is racing, like the fight or flight mm-hmm. Response of your body. That's actually anxiety, Mm-hmm. So like, to me, like if you are experiencing, more of a, like, I need to flee from this, threat mm-hmm. kind of response, like maybe sweaty palms, like weak legs, like when your body becomes weak, right? Mm-hmm. A sense of however your body feels fear. Okay. And a lot of times it could be like, people have headaches, or confusion, brain fog, or maybe it's tightness in the chest. Like when I work on people, it's like, and I always worry about people who have like really unhealthy gut, because if you have like unhealthy gut, it also kind of like messes up your compass, right? Your inner compass. Okay. You can't really know if this is the right decision or not when your tummy's always upset, right? Then it affects your mind. I
never thought of that.
Yeah, it affects your mind as well, because obviously the gut and the mind, your brain is connected. They're very intimately connected. Like your mind affects your gut. So if you get really stressed up here, your gut gets messed up too. So that's why you get stomach aches and, when you're too stressed out. Mm-hmm. But when you also eat something bad, it makes you all brain fogged, right? You're like, man, like I feel dizzy, Right. You've experienced that before. And so, the best way to know, like if you're following your intuition, is when your body feels relaxed and calm and you feel the sense of energy, vitality. And usually like like divine messages come through when you're in a very like I call it homeostasis, right? Like in this calm stillness. Like this is also why like Jose's always telling people you're a meditation away, right? From living your true life, your true self, right? And it's true because like sometimes we just need to have that stillness to hear that inner voice, that true voice, the truth, like literally rise within you. And then you get that clarity. And we live in a really, really busy world, right? Like there's so many distractions within our body and outside of our body.
And so what we really want is to be our true authentic self and listen to our body. And this is why I love what you teach about also eating right. Because you also do the vegan tantra experience, right? You've done that in the past, and man, you really took that to another level, and it's so true. Like the food we eat. So, explain more about that, and
sure. I do believe that there isn't really anything like a product, a service, the special gadget that would really help us get to our intuition, except for what's natural, because we're going to our natural state, right? And that also includes eating natural foods, right? If we're constantly putting, inflammatory foods into our bodies, right? And if we're sensing these, right, our bodies are reacting to these substances, then we don't know, like our compass starts to spin, right? And so like that's why like monks, they eat very non-stimulating foods so they can keep that neutrality.
So what would be like a non-stimulating food?
What's
a stimulating food, right?
Right. Stimulating foods would be like super spicy, like, actually they even avoid garlic, like onions and things like that as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, salty, right? Super sweet, which American diet's like all like that, right?
Right.
Like just anything that's highly stimulating, right? Okay. Usually it's salty, spicy, sweet. It could be like, super greasy too. Like it's just too much grease.
So that's the food part of it, right? That's for the body. One thing I like to focus on is, and I'm sharing this in people watching, what I like to is to guide the subconscious, to be intuitive through your subconscious, because your subconscious doesn't really think. It's just that gut reaction. Sometimes don't go there, or don't get that job. Don't buy that car. But it's a really beautiful car. Don't buy it. It's a lemon. Like your subconscious knows so many details and ways to protect you. I remember when we're so powerful. I remember when I was a kid. We went to El Paso. I think I was 5 or 6. We went to El Paso to visit my aunt who had she moved to a new place. And back then, my parents were using maps. I mean, it was maps back then, right? I was a kid.
Like physical maps.
Like a map, yeah, and then my aunt gave them the address. Gave my parents the address, and you're going to turn on this street, and you're going to look for that street or whatever. But it was so weird. My parents still freak out about this because they were driving, and I was like 5 or 6. I was in the back seat, and I'm like in the middle, between dad driving and mom.
Totally safe.
And I'm in the middle, just like this, and I just knew. I go, turn on that corner, make a left right there, turn this way, turn that way. See that Whataburger? Dia's house is over there. Like it's that house.
He's never been there before.
And I've never been there before. And they were just looking at me like, how in the hell did you know this? And that's pure guidance, pure intuition. Because I think when you're a kid, you're so pure. You're like, you just really know how to follow.
You just had that inner knowing. And you were so confident in that.
And all of us have that.
Yeah.
Every one of us has that. It's just a matter of allowing that quiet, being still enough. That's why meditation is so powerful, right? We're all a meditation away from changing our life, because you get so much insight in meditation, and just quieting the mind. And people think meditation is like an hour, 2 hours. No, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I have a video where I explain how to do it, because I've experienced really cool stuff. If you watch other videos that has shown, so the universe's way of showing me that this that we're all connected, and follow your intuition and watch how your life can play out. You know, so
can I piggyback off something
absolutely,
you said?
Absolutely.
Because I love to talk about the body, and for me, like, I just know that I'm very like ADHD, have so much energy, and my form of meditation is dance.
Yes,
and
that you stole my thunder. I was going to ask you. So okay, perfect. So my question was this: what tools can you tell people that they can use to connect to their intuition? Because I know you like stillness, you like journaling, and you like body movement exercises. So
yes, thank you.
Dance.
Perfect segue.
You didn't even know I was going to ask you that. So
Yeah.
there you go. Intuition, right? Okay,
Yeah,
no, sorry, just go ahead.
Totally. And honestly, like, I know that, you know, just it's a state we're getting into, right? Like, and everyone's so different. And so I would love to open up the space for people to think about meditation in a different way, right? Because I think a lot of people in this modern day society, they feel like, I don't have time. Who has time to sit down and rest? You know, like, everyone's so busy, like working their full-time jobs, raising families, and doing whatever they need to take care of their life, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I love your advice about just do like 5 minutes, and that's all that may take that for you to get the clarity that you need. Sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay, right? Because you have to understand what state you're in at that moment. You could have so much energy pent up, you just need to go hiking. It could be hiking. And when you start to move energy in your body and you let go, you breathe, right? Deep breathing could be really helpful too, to get yourself, right? Breath work is, we call it breath work now. It's something that we've been practicing just like intuitively for eons ago, right? This is just part of who we are. When we take a deep breath, we clear a lot of energy within our lungs, like our liver. It helps detoxify the liver when you start moving this area and deep breathing. Also relaxing your nervous system, again going back to the homeostasis. So that's just one thing, right? Like, and also dance, what it does is it brings your consciousness like from your head to your body. And sometimes this is not the best place to make decisions, because it's very influenced by the external, right?
So
the programming.
I want to share this picture that people can see, where it shows when I had an aura reading that you took me to, and how this here shows me being all purple and
white
on top. So one of my friends was like, "River, you're like a saint," and I was all like, "Yes," you know, like whatever, you know. I don't know what I'm like. I'm gonna float, right? And my dear friend Jen, she's like, "That's not good. You're not here. You didn't come here to have a spiritual experience. You came to have a human experience." And what's going to start happening, I think she said, your body will start to deteriorate because you're not in your body. So yes, being intuitive, there has to be a balance. You can't just be so out there. You need to be grounded too. So it's important. A way to grounding is, like you said, eating, movement, which is why I get a lot of breakthroughs at the gym or running. Whenever I run, it's like, oh, I should do this, right? So good. So that's also meditating. It's also meditating, because that could be your 30 minutes of meditation. In a sense,
it's mental quietness.
Correct.
It's whatever can get you to that mental quietness, the stillness that we need, right? And like, I just love it when to me, the best way to meditate is to sweat. You know, because when your body's working hard, you can't help it but to come back into your body, right? A lot of fear states actually going into the head. Your body gets cold when you're in fear, right? Your extremities, your blood starts to come into the center of your body, which makes your limbs really cold. So that's another sign to look out for if you're in fear state, right? And like, your energy flows a certain way when it's in homeostasis versus not. And that's when I was talking about the sweaty hands. So if you have sweaty hands or really cold body, most likely you're in fear state, right? Or like your head is hot, or you have headaches, like migraines and stuff. Most likely your energy is moving the opposite direction, or you're very stagnant up here.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I feel like people that are very I've noticed this. People that are very religious, again, going back to the religious trauma from the last segment, people that are very religious a lot of times are sick because they're only in their upper chakras. They're only the upper energy. But the body is, oh, when I die and I go to heaven, well, what about now? Like, you know what I mean? You're living here now. So the body is neglected. And so I know a lot of people that get sick. I was one that was really, I remember a good friend of mine in Chicago told me, River, now that you're into church, you're more sick than before. And I'm like, you're always sick. And I was like, and I was, because I was always like this trauma, depending, I guess, how people take it, right? How much you really tune into that. I was so in tune to like, you know, am I pleasing God? Am I not? Like all this. So it was always a state of like fear. It's a constant state of fear.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're never good enough. And that gets into your subconscious. And now I'm just so like about being your true self.
Yeah. And I see that as an attack to yourself.
It
right?
is. It's like
it
you're
becomes an illness.
self-attacking.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it was terrible. So I thought, now I'm happier. I feel better now. I know who I am. So that's why I left all that, and whenever it doesn't matter. But I mean, it's just into the religious trauma is a real thing.
Yeah, and I wanted to also add to that where it, you know, we also call that dissociation. When you're in fear state,
right,
your body starts to dissociate from the present time, actually.
Right.
So it's like a way to detach yourself from reality, and you get stuck in your head.
Right.
And it's really dangerous because then you don't have your sensors sensing for you. You're now in like flight and freeze or fawn mode. Right. Right. And then that's dissociation. Can you kind of see like how I'm saying that?
And one thing I don't get into is politics. But I just know that a lot of people, regardless of who wins, there's always a side that gets all fearful. This person wins, this side is all fearful. And if this person wins, then this side is all fearful. And it's like, that's why you really have to be so, you know, to the audience, you really need to be diligent about being you and listening to your gut, eating healthy so that you don't have sensory overload that's not really, that the media is trying to give you, or that, you know, a cult or religion is trying to give you. And so you can really function, you know, sovereignly as an individual that you are. You know, you are that creator of what you experience in your life. And so I think this is such a passion of mine, to see people live free.
Same.
You know, just be the best you, whatever that is.
And that makes you unfuckwithable.
Right. Because then it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter if that guy won the presidency or this guy won the presidency. It doesn't matter. You're like, as far as I'm concerned, here I am sovereign. And I'm living the life that's best for me, and I will attract what's best for me. And I think that's the passion that I have for people to, this is why I'm so about living in my authentic self, you know, and as we talk a lot about, you know.
Yeah, and not judging yourself, right? That was a really big topic for us this week, was that, you know, we were judging, and that's what kept us from like moving forward and being our authentic self, because we're just like, that's not right, this is not right, this is not what we want. And it's just, there's just so much shame and judgment around what should and shouldn't be, right? And that's the conditioning, that's the programming.
And now I ran into one of my friends here at a coffee shop. Hey, how you doing? I go, you know what? I'm in a state of I don't give a fuck. That's where I'm at. Yeah. I'm in a state of I don't give a fuck. And he starts laughing. He's like, you know what? Me too. How many years did it take us to get there? And I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what? If I wanna dance, I'm gonna dance. If I'm not the best, so freaking what? That's how I dance. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you don't, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that and I don't care.
Isn't that so liberating?
And it's the freest thing ever, you know. I'm really doing what I like. I'm enjoying life. The businesses that I have are exactly the businesses I want to have. Everything I'm doing is what I want to do. So I'm really enjoying life. And guess what? And I know that no matter where I am today, I'm evolving. I don't have to have all the answers today.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, like, oh no. But River, you said once that you believed this. And well, guess what? I changed my mind now. So fucking what? You know what I mean? This is where I'm at. So feel free to challenge what you have been taught all of your life.
Yeah.
We're going to leave this segment here, and I'm going to leave you with a quote that says, intuition is always there. We just need to tune in to get you there. So your intuition to wherever it is that there is, you can get there. Or as Neville Goddard says, they're here. I love that. They're here.
Wow. That has a multitude of
Absolutely.
things wrapped in
They're
there.
here. Whatever there is. Oh, I wish I was. Bring it here. They're here. And so again, thank you for coming, Senya. I'm glad you came.
Thank you, River.
Yeah, it's been awesome having you here. And we will do some more segments. And if you want to, please share this, comment, share, and like. And maybe you have something that you're breaking free from. Maybe you want some, you can always email your questions. It's something you want some answers to. Or, maybe you have a method that works best for you and it might work for somebody reading a comment. So we're just all figuring it out together, right?
Yes, we are.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.